thrift stores and inflation. I filmed this a few months ago, but I decided to make it less blabbering because clips like these were included before.
Before I start, if you hear a river in the background, it's not me, it's the fish tank. Okay? Fish tank, not me.
Now that that's out of the way, I have a script and I'm ready to go. Is it just me, or has the concept of thrifting itself become counterintuitive? Thrifting has long been a way to snag a good deal, but no, not so much. The discounts you once loved are now at MSRP, or even worse, more expensive than buying new. I had an instance of this when I went to Value Village and was looking at computer cases. Why is it more expensive and broken, not in good condition, than buying it new? Anyways, how is this possible? Let's talk about it. So, my favorite reason to go to thrift stores in the first place is to get discounts, or to usually find things I'm looking for, because I try to go with an intent in mind, or else I kind of just walk around aimlessly picking up things and I'm like, dang. One of my qualms in the last 4 or 5 years has been some of the changes they made to the system, where if you think about it, most thrift stores run off of mostly donations. I do think nowadays with the bigger companies, they buy some of their donated stock, but a good portion I still donate it for free. In that, I find certain policies within thrift stores to be kind of counterintuitive. For example, they used to have their stores with change rooms to let people try on their clothing to see if it fits before they make the decision of actually purchasing it, but they don't have that anymore. I understand somewhat if it had to do with people stealing, because you're running a business, which, you know, but that's the thing. People inevitably, most places, unfortunately, it happens. Outside of those cases, I think change rooms are important because with their refund policies, you only get in-store credit. You're not usually getting back your money, so it can make sense. Anyways, with the no change room situation, yikes. So the refund policy also isn't helpful either, because normally when you want to shop again, especially in similar places, it's like you want the money, the credits, to be able to get something else and like choose if you want to spend it in that store. But then by shopping there, you're kind of stuck to that specific store. But I find it funny as well if they're especially worried about stealing when a good portion of their items are given for free. Because it's like me saying, people give me, let's say, like any sort of gift, and then I, instead of re-gifting things if I don't want them anymore, I sell them to you. It's kind of like, if you think about it in the whole world, the scheme of things, it is technically business, but is it ethical? That's up to you to decide personally. But that's the thing, you know. Okay, inflation of the prices themselves. This was meant to cover most of the video, but I think covering different points within the entire scheme of things makes more sense. But the prices of things are really expensive for what you're getting. Sometimes you're getting products that are broken, things that are really worn down, or things that you bring home, you try on, they don't fit. Now you're stuck with spending in the store again, something else, you know? And it is a lot of a struggle for some people to see things, and certain sizing, especially women's sizing, is all over the place, so you can't really rely on what you see is what you get. Yeah, it's kind of sucks. And how expensive things are, I find the concept of the behind the counter items kind of funny as well. Certain items that they believe to be more valuable, they'll put behind a counter, so you have to speak to the attendant to be able to view them, open them, test them, for example. Some of these aren't, like, what I'm saying is you can get them cheaper if you buy from like neighborhood sellers, maybe Facebook Marketplace, even online sometimes. But most of the time, it's just not even worth it. You could, for example, buy an electronic that just doesn't work, and that's not really your fault if you don't have the means to test it in store. But now, especially if it's a more expensive item behind the counter, it sucks. Item quality. Okay, one thing I find really interesting as well, sometimes you'll see a design of something that is very unique or eye-catching. You'll go to it and you'll maybe think of picking it up, but you'll see the price is expensive. Maybe you really like it, maybe this design is something that you've been looking for. In buying it for that expensive price, you might not realize it might be from a company that is copying designs and producing it themselves much cheaper. These clothing might not like last you long at all, and you're paying potentially even more than what you might find on, let's say, a platform like Shein. Don't buy Shein at the thrift store, but like still. Some people don't know. I think it's good to also look up specific items and look up brands ahead of time and keep an eye out for those and kind of like not just stick to the ones you know, but like experiment with what is worth it in the long run. Because I think it's better you get clothing that like lasts versus something that falls apart and then you buy again. Falls apart, yeah. Less perishable. I will only include this in the video if I have the exact terms, etc., or else I could, I don't want to spread misinformation. They used to give a much more generous discount or even a discount for donating items. Now I think you have like 20% off on one item. Used to be 20% off of your purchase, but not the case. And now I think it's up under $50 that discount applies. But for the senior discount, I think it's like, okay, come on. These people worked to get to the point they are, like, at this age, it's like just maybe. I think it's fair because it's free. They've been here a long time. Just, be kinder to our older folk. Oh yeah, and then the security situation. I find it interesting, but I think it might be something store to store. Security, because first of all, I'm not gonna steal from a secondhand store, but like if people are, maybe there's a reason. I know they have like clothing drives, etc., but some people might not be able to access those at those distances or might feel things like shame for doing so. I'm not saying that stealing is right at all, but I'm saying if someone's in the situation where they're, like desperate enough to, especially for things like clothing, because it's one thing if it's electronics that, like some of them, those aren't a necessity, and there are public options too. But if it's for things like, let's say like a t-shirt, like stealing is stealing, but like if you got it for free. Here are my final thoughts and opinions. I'm not gonna be able to recite it off the top of my head, but we're gonna work on that. So here are my final thoughts. Shopping based on your needs and entering with a budget in mind helps. Knowing your products and labels and double checking online prices while you're still in store. There's still value to the secondhand economy, and it's important to consider the real value of the experience if you're just going for fun, and the change room situation paired with their return policy, versus alternatives like trading old clothing with people you know. But maybe this was a little insightful. Maybe I'll do more in-depth and I'll research a bit of it, because the charity situation with it is its own beast in and of itself. But for this week, I think that's gonna be it, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.